How do I... Welcome, everyone. This is Dr. Dietra Hawkins. I am really glad that you have stopped to watch this video. So this is the second in our series of videos to support you downloading our ebook. And the tip that we're going to talk about here that we're going to go a little bit deeper in is related to asking better questions. So I have been doing a lot of work most of my career about something that is called the other AI. So back in the day, people used to say, AI, you mean American Idol? No, I actually meant appreciative inquiry. And of course, now when people say AI, we're thinking of artificial intelligence. So, what I want to share with you from an AI or appreciative inquiry perspective is that in addition to asking those other questions that I mentioned in the ebook, I think it's really important that we understand that we are trying not to fix problems all the time, but we are actually trying to embrace solutions. And that too often we start off our conversations with people trying to figure out what the problem is and how we're going to actually fix it. What I have learned over the years is that most people first don't really want to be seen as being broken. They actually need to be seen as having some agency, some worth, some ability to do things, and that they are not alone. Now, I say that because every organization, when we first go into it, wants to be seen as like being unique. And then after they've been heard, they want to know how are they like everybody else. So the goal here is just recognizing what that initial engagement needs to be. So I wrote a couple of notes down that I wanted to note. First, when we do conversations, we're talking with people, we're in a place of leadership, I want you to start thinking about what are some of the questions that you ask? And are you asking a series of questions that actually help people to find their own solutions instead of looking for a problem and are focused on trying to fix something? The way that I used to start off, and I was trained in doing focus groups, we would have, I don't know, 8, maybe 12 questions for an hour focus group. What I've learned to do now is to ask 3 core questions. And my favorite questions are, what is helping here or what's working? What could be better, which is generally your problem question. And then what gives us the ability or gives you the ability to keep having some sense of hope? Those 3 questions become an anchor for anything that you're trying to create. Now, the way that you could use this and kind of go deeper into this is to think about how you design your questions. So, to just give you a couple of quick tips here, it's important to start thinking about your questions that one help you to look back. Okay, so what's working? Like what in the past? What, in your experience, what would you say has ever like made a difference? So that you're asking questions that ask people to sort of look back. And the other piece that I say with this is that you take what works and leave the rest. Okay, so we're looking back to see what works. So we're going to build on that. And then the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to focus on how do we go in. Okay, so we want questions that help us to look back. We want questions to help us look in. What are some things that give you a sense of hope? What are some things that inspire you or have inspired you lately? Okay. And then we want a series of questions that help us to look forward. So, very often in the work that I do, I'll start off with asking all those other questions and then we'll close with what we call the miracle question, right? So, you wake up tomorrow, you have everything that you have needed. A miracle has happened. What is different about your day? And this is a great question to really get people to anchor into the specifics. So, the thing I want to highlight here is that using an appreciative approach is not about being overly positive or toxically positive. What we are actually trying to do is build on a fund of knowledge that is often overlooked that can help drive and sustain growth and movement. And we do that by learning how to ask better questions. So this is just a little bit of a touch on a deeper dive, and I do a lot more work actually helping people use an appreciative approach, especially for community engagement or strategic planning. So I am interested in whether or not you are familiar with this other AI. Um, Make sure if you've gotten to the end of this video that you like and leave a comment so that other people will be able to find this information as well. Thank you, and I look forward to you joining us for the next video. And that will be another deep dive following up on the ebook. If you haven't gotten the ebook, make sure that you actually print it out because you might have downloaded it, but you didn't actually print it out. So make sure that you check it out and then let us know how you're using it. All right, talk to you soon.